We're wearing a hat, and we have hats in front of us. We have 4 hats.
And welcome to another edition of the Nerdy Agent Podcast Business Tip of the Week.
Business tip.
Business tip of the week.
It's the business tip of the week.
Producer Haley with a massive intro edition today.
Someone's
on
got
the
to sing
Business
without
Tip of the
AJ,
Week. That
right?
was awesome. We are also with our mortgage aficionado special guest, Bryan Meredith, today. If you missed the podcast that we posted as well, he's also on that about Silicon Valley banks. You should go back and check that out. But for the business tip of the week, we are going to talk about recasting, specifically because there are some new loan level pricing adjustments coming out, I believe, in May, Brian. Is that correct?
But they're in effect now.
In effect now.
Yeah, because if you think about when loans close and how they deliver them to Fannie and Freddie.
Oh, it's for when they close.
It's from when they're delivered.
Okay.
So they're implementing those pricing adjustments now because of when they're going to be delivered.
Perfect. And so those are being implemented now. And essentially, we're going to do a whole podcast about this. But essentially, it's going to be if you put more money down, it could be less advantageous for you. But there are ways around that, specifically what's called recasting, where you put less money up front and then you kind of add it on later. So I want Brian to kind of give a rundown of what recasting looks like for a buyer.
Sure. So if your interest rate is more advantageous to you at 5% down and you wanted to say put 20% down, you can take that money and sit on it for 60 days until your loan is, completed. It's, with the servicer and kind of what that is, right? Take that lump sum of cash. Usually the cutoff for the minimum is like roughly $10,000. It varies by servicer.
That you lump sum pay.
Correct. So it has to meet a certain threshold, but it can't be less than a certain threshold, right? And then what you do is you take that and you make a lump sum payment against the principal balance. They'll re-amortize your loan. So let's say you did a 30-year loan and it's 360 months. You waited 2 months. You're now at 358 months. So then they would basically take that lump sum payment against the principal balance and re-amortize it over those 358. So lessen your monthly payment based on sort of the amortization of your loan.
And do buyers have to get a special loan product for this? Is this available for any type of conventional loan?
So I would say 90% of servicers will allow you to do it. There are some that will not. And basically that just equates to performance of loan, right? But ultimately, there's less risk involved if you do a recast. So they're like, yes, we'll take that.
And do they have to pay for the recast portion of that?
Yes. It varies by servicer.
Okay.
I would say it's probably anywhere from $300 to $500.
Oh, okay. So it's a nominal amount.
Yeah,
of money.
it's not like thousands of dollars.
No. Okay.
Do you run some upfront evaluations for people to say, okay, at 20% down, here's your monthly payment. Here's your payment over a period of time. If you go to 5% down, here's your monthly payment, and then here's the cost of the recast, and here's your monthly payment after the recast.
Yep.
Essentially, what's your total amount that you're going to be spending going these two different directions?
Yeah. So I'll inform them as to what that is. I actually advise that now. There are certain, there are loan level pricing adjustments, like 3, 5, 10, 20%, right? Like 20% is actually less advantageous for you, even under the old loan level pricing adjustments, than it is for you to do like 15% down, right? So then I'll be like, put 15% down, take your extra 5% later, put it against it and tell them remove your PMI. You're only paying PMI for like 2 or 3 months.
Yep. And recast historically has been something that people talk about with like people who are move-up buyers, right? So if you only have so much cash on hand, but you're going to sell your house, you put the 5 now and then you recast after you sell with that extra cash.
Yeah,
but this is a little bit different.
It is. I mean, because I guess it's same but different, but
in theory you have the cash already, but it's still advantageous to do it this way.
So it happens a lot with current homeowners that want to go non-contingent.
Yep.
And then they're like, I'm putting 5% down, doing a bridge swing loan. I'm going to pay those 2 loans off whenever I sell. Then I still have a lump of cash. You go and you recast the loan, right? So
I think same idea, but different reason for doing it is what I would.
Well, right. The loan level adjustments, it sounds like, open up the reality that you could do this as a first-time home buyer if you had 20% down.
Totally.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
And it may still be advantageous to you.
Yep.
So that's something that I think, especially moving forward, that agents are going to want to know. They're going to want to make sure their buyers are aware of with what's going on. If they tell them they want to put 20% down, and if that's the case too, you should also reach out to your lender and say, hey, but we're looking to do this.
The other piece is that the loan level pricing adjustments, if you're over 40% DTI, there's an adjuster basically to sort of offset that strategy too. So you have to kind of evaluate
each case
on a case, like it's a case by case kind of deal.
Like, I was to say, if you got something specific to this,
No.
go ahead. I was just say we talk a lot on this about like having a good lender, making sure you have somebody who's in your client's favor and in their best interest and thinking through things critically for them. That's why we brought on Bryan. That's why we work with Bryan a lot of times. But if you don't have someone who's even thinking about these things, or if you ask your lender like, hey, what do you know about these new loan level adjustments, and they don't have a really good answer for
Think
you,
twice about that lender.
find somebody better that's going to be able to help support your clients, because there's things that they can be doing to help get them the best outcome possible.
I didn't even know what these were until Bryan sent that email to us. I was like, I didn't know this was happening.
Right. So
As
it's
I wouldn't.
always be fighting for your clients. And if this stuff's confusing to you, that's okay, because that's what the lenders are here for.
Exactly.
That's why I have a job.
There you go. And that's the Nerdy Agent Podcast Business Tip of the Week.
Business tip.
Business.